Hello space explorers. Welcome back to Sci-Fi Space, the place where we dive into the most mind-blowing sci-fi stories in the universe. Before we starting today's wonderful story, take a second to check if you've subscribed. It's completely free, and it helps bring more sci-fi adventures straight to your feed. What if I told you the galaxy had one rule: don't wake the humans, and someone just broke it? Stick around, because this gets wild. Today, we're diving into a sci-fi epic where an advanced alien race, the Klyther, messes with a sleeping human ship. They think humans are weak. Big mistake. By the end, you won't believe where this goes. Trust me, you'll want to see how it all crashes down. In a distant corner of the universe, the Klyther reigned supreme. They weren't your typical flesh and blood creatures. They were beings of pure light, shimmering with energy that pulsed like a living flame. Their civilization thrived on massive superstructures orbiting the event horizons of black holes, tapping into endless power to fuel their advanced society. The Klyther had cracked the secrets of entropy while most species were still figuring out how to rub two sticks together to make fire. They saw space travel as a basic skill, something any kid could master with a little practice. Their technology was so far ahead that they could bend reality itself if they felt like it. But no matter how powerful they got, the Klyther followed one unbreakable rule: do not wake the humans. It was etched into every law tablet, encoded in every frequency they used to communicate, and passed down through thousands of generations like a sacred mantra. Nobody knew where it came from or why it existed. The rule just was. Old records warned of catastrophic consequences if it was ever broken, but the details were fuzzy, lost to time, or maybe never written down in the first place. All anyone knew was that humans, a weak species from some backwater planet, had locked themselves in a deep sleep centuries ago. They floated around in giant ships, drifting aimlessly between the stars, and every spacefaring race agreed to leave them alone. Humans didn't seem like much. The stories said they'd barely figured out interstellar travel before they went into hibernation. Some said it happened during a big war that trashed their home world, leaving them no choice but to sleep until things got better. Others whispered it was something else, something darker, but nobody had proof. Their ships were ancient hulks by Klyther standards, clunky, outdated, and not worth a second glance. Still, that one rule stuck. It was the only thing every civilization, no matter how advanced, agreed on. Let the humans sleep. Period. Kale, the chief scientist on a Klyther research vessel, couldn't shake his curiosity about them. He was a sharp guy, his light glowing a steady emerald green as he worked the energy console. One day, his team picked up a signal from a human ship drifting near the edge of a black hole's reach. He pulled up a 3D hologram of it, watching the old ship spin slowly in the display. "Look at them," he said, his voice humming with a mix of awe and confusion. "They are so calm when they are asleep. Hard to believe they are the reason for our biggest rule." His light flickered slightly, like he was trying to puzzle it out. Humans didn't look dangerous. They were just there, frozen in time. Next to him floated Nyra, his assistant. She was younger, her light a bright, cocky yellow that practically buzzed with energy. Fresh out of the Klyther Science Academy, she'd graduated top of her class and acted like she already knew everything. "Maybe we should take a closer look," she said, her tone bold and casual. "They're just old organic relics. What's the worst that could happen? We might learn something nobody else has." Her light pulsed with excitement, like she was daring the universe to prove her wrong. Kale's glow dimmed a little. He didn't like where this was going. "The rule exists for a reason," he shot back, keeping his voice firm. "We don't mess with humans. That's the deal." But Nyra just shrugged, or at least, her light rippled in a way that felt like a shrug. "Rules are great until someone asks why they are there," she said. "Come on, Kale. We're scientists. We're supposed to push boundaries, not sit around scared of some dusty old ship." Kale didn't answer right away. He stared at the hologram, watching the human ship's faint energy signature pulse like a heartbeat. It was weak, barely noticeable, but something about it made his light twitch with unease. He'd spent his whole career studying the unknown, mapping black holes, cracking energy codes nobody else could touch. This should have been nothing, a routine scan, a quick peek, then move on. But that rule gnawed at him. Why were humans off limits? What made them so special, or so dangerous, that every species in the galaxy tiptoed around them? Naira didn't care about the why. She saw a mystery and wanted to crack it open. One little probe, she pressed, her light flaring brighter. We won't even touch them. Just a scan. Think of what we could discover. Kale's glow steadied, but his mind was racing. He knew better. He should have shut her down right there. But the scientist in him, the part that had gotten him this far, itched to know more. Against his better judgment, he nodded. Fine, he said. One scan. That's it. He had no idea what he'd just agreed to. Naira didn't waste a second. The moment Kale gave the green light, her glowing yellow form zipped to the control panel. One scan, coming right up, she said, her voice buzzing with confidence. She fired up an energy beam, a thin pulse of light designed to skim the human ship's hull and pull back basic data. It was supposed to be quick, clean, and safe, nothing invasive, just a peek. See? No big deal, she added, her light flaring like she'd already won some imaginary prize. Kale watched, arms crossed, or at least, his light folded in a way that screamed disapproval. Keep it minimal, he warned. We're not here to poke the bear. Too late. The beam hit the ship, and everything went sideways. The human vessel, a lifeless hunk of metal just moments ago, lit up like a damn supernova. Red warning lights flashed across the Klyther ship's monitors. Alarms screamed, shrill and relentless, drowning out Naira's smug grin. What the hell did you do? Kale snapped, his emerald light splintering into jagged bursts of panic. I don't know. Naira stammered, her glow fading fast, turning almost see-through with fear. It was just a scan. The beam must have hit something in their sleep field. On the main screen, the human ship came alive. Thousands of pods, little dots that had been dark for centuries, started glowing, one by one, like someone flipped a switch. The ancient systems kicked into gear, moving so fast the Klyther sensors couldn't keep up. Shut it down. Kale yelled, lunging for the controls. Naira fumbled beside him, her light trembling. I'm trying. It's not responding. The beam had locked onto the human ship, and now it was feeding back some kind of signal, sharp, angry, and way too powerful for anything that old. Kale's mind raced. This wasn't supposed to happen. It was a routine check, a simple data grab. But that ship wasn't just waking up, it was pissed. Emergency signal, now, he barked, his voice cutting through the chaos. Send it to High Command. Code Red Blaze, Human Awakening in Sector 9. Naira hesitated, her light flickering like a dying bulb, but she punched the command in. The message shot out, a desperate SOS rippling through subspace. Within minutes, the cavalry arrived. A fleet of Klyther warships materialized around them, their sleek, light-based hulls forming a tight ring around the human ship. The research vessel was dwarfed, a speck in the middle of a glowing cage. High Commander Taryn's image popped up on the screen, her deep red light blazing with fury. You brain-dead idiots, she roared, her voice a thunderstorm of rage. Do you have any clue what you've just done? Her glow pulsed so hard it nearly fried the display. Kale shrank back, his light dimming under her glare. Naira just stared, too stunned to speak. Taryn, listen, Kale started, trying to keep his tone steady. It was an accident. Maybe we can put them back to sleep. A harsh beep cut him off. The sensors screamed again, louder this time. The human ship's engines, relics that shouldn't even work, were powering up. Lights flared along its hull, and the readings spiked. Brain waves. Human brain waves. Not just awake, but furious. Kale's light froze. "They're not happy," he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. Taryn's glow dulled to a grim flicker. "Too late," she said, her voice dropping to a whisper. "They're up. God help us all." The screen blinked out, leaving Kale and Naira in stunned silence. The alarms kept blaring, but they barely noticed. On the main viewer, the human ship's pods kept lighting up, tens of thousands now, maybe more. It was a chain reaction, unstoppable, like a fire tearing through dry grass. Naira turned to Kale, her light barely a shimmer. "I didn't mean to," she started, but he cut her off with a sharp flash. "Save it," he snapped. "You wanted to push boundaries? Well, congrats. You just woke up the one thing we were told never to touch." Her glow shrank even further, guilt swallowing her usual bravado. Kale didn't have time to care. He was too busy watching the human ship, its systems humming with a precision that made no sense. How could something so old move like that? What the hell had they built before they went to sleep? The fleet tightened its formation, a glowing net meant to contain whatever was coming. But Kale had a bad feeling it wouldn't be enough. The human ship's comms crackled to life, blasting a message across every frequency in a language nobody had heard in ages. It was short, cold, and hit like a punch to the gut. "Who dared wake us up?" The words hung there, heavy and accusing, as the Klyther fleet braced for the worst. Kale glanced at Naira, who looked like she might fade out completely. "This is on you," he said, his light steady but sharp. "Hope you're ready to explain this to Taryn." Naira didn't respond. She just stared at the screen, where the human ship loomed larger every second, a sleeping giant they'd just kicked awake. Lisa, the Klyther's top diplomat, didn't waste time. Her pristine white light shimmered with a polished calm as she gathered her team. The human ship was awake, and High Command had ordered her to smooth things over fast. "We've got one job," she told her crew, her voice steady and clear. "Be polite, be respectful, and apologize like our lives depend on it. We messed with her sleep, how bad can it be?" Her light pulsed with confidence. She'd handled first contact situations before, talked down warlords, and even negotiated peace with a swarm species that ate planets for breakfast. This couldn't be worse than that, right? Wrong. The human ship let them dock, which Lisa took as a good sign. Her team followed her through the airlock, their lights dimmed to show respect. But the second they stepped, or floated, inside, they ran smack into a wall of grumpy humans. The air stank of something bitter and sharp. Sensors flagged it as coffee, a liquid so potent it got labeled a biohazard on the spot. The humans were a mess, rumpled pajamas, wild hair, and dark circles under their eyes like they hadn't slept in years. Which, technically, they hadn't, until Naira screwed it all up. The leader stood out front, clutching a mug of that coffee like it was a lifeline. His hair stuck up in every direction, and his glare could have melted steel. "So," he growled, his voice rough and low, "you're the clowns who thought it'd be hilarious to wake up a few million people before their alarm clocks went off." His tone dripped with sarcasm, and the humans behind him muttered agreement, sipping their drinks and shooting dirty looks. Lisa didn't flinch. She'd trained for this. "Honored humans," she began, her light glowing with rehearsed sincerity, "on behalf of the Galactic Union, we offer our deepest apologies for this unfortunate, save it, glow stick." The leader cut her off, taking a long, loud slurp of coffee. "Do you have any idea how long it took us to sync our sleep schedules? You try getting millions of people to agree on bedtime. It's a nightmare. And then you jerks come along and zap us awake." Her team's lights flickered, thrown off by the interruption. This wasn't in the playbook. Lisa pressed on, keeping her cool. "We understand your frustration," she said, "and we've prepared generous reparations, top-tier relaxation tech, soundproof sleep pods, you name it." The leader snorted, a harsh, barking sound that made the whole diplomatic crew vibrate with alarm. "Oh, that's cute," he said, rolling his eyes. You think some fancy gadgets are gonna fix this? Ever tried falling back asleep after some idiot wakes you up? Good luck. Things went downhill fast. One human in the back piped up, voiced shrill with outrage. Hey, where's our lo-fi music? I checked the archives, it's gone. You let it die out while we were sleeping. The crowd grumbled louder, tossing out complaints like grenades. What about our playlists? Who's got our coffee beans? This is worse than the great Wi-Fi crash of 23. Lisa's light dimmed a little. She hadn't expected this level of whining. They weren't threatening war or pulling weapons, just griping like it was an Olympic sport. She tried again. We're truly sorry, she said, her glow softening to show empathy. We'll do whatever it takes to make this right. The leader smirked, leaning forward. Oh, you're sorry? That's great. Tell you what, bring back our lo-fi beats, and maybe we won't turn your shiny little galaxy into our personal playground. His tone was half joking, half deadly serious, and Lisa didn't know which scared her more. Her second-in-command, a faint blue light named Torin, jumped in. We can replicate your music, he offered, desperate to de-escalate. We've got tech that can synthesize anything, not the same, the lo-fi guy shouted, slamming his mug down. Coffee splashed everywhere, and the Klyther team flinched like it was acid. You can't fake the vibe, man. You killed our chill. Lisa sent a private signal to Taryn, keeping her light steady for the humans. They are not attacking, she reported, but they won't stop complaining. It's relentless, sleep schedules, music, something called vibes. What do we do? Taryn's reply crackled back, sharp and short, keep them talking. We can't fight a war of words. The leader drained his mug and tossed it aside, glaring at Lisa. Here's the deal, Sparkles, he said, crossing his arms. You woke us up, so you're gonna pay. We're not going back to sleep, not yet. And if we don't get our lo-fi, our coffee, and a damn good apology, we're tearing this place apart until we're happy. He paused, then grinned, a slow, dangerous thing. And trust me, we're real hard to please when we're cranky. Lisa's light wavered. This wasn't diplomacy. This was a tantrum with teeth. We'll work on it, she said, forcing calm into her voice. Let's discuss terms, the leader laughed. Buddy, you don't get it. We're awake now. Terms are whatever we say they are. The humans cheered, and Lisa realized she wasn't dealing with a species, she was dealing with a caffeine-fueled reckoning. Lisa's diplomatic charm was wearing thin, but she kept her white light steady as the humans ranted. The leader, still clutching an empty coffee mug like a trophy, leaned back with a smirk. You guys really bought the whole humans ran out of resources story, he said, his voice dripping with amusement. Lisa blinked, her light flickered in confusion. That's what our records say, she replied carefully. Your planet was dying, so you went into hibernation to survive. The humans burst out laughing, a loud, chaotic sound that made her team's lights dim nervously. Survive, the leader said, wiping his eyes like it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. Nah, man. We didn't sleep because we were desperate. We slept because we were bored. He waved a hand, and one of his crew tossed him a beat-up tablet. He scrolled through it, grinning. Check this out, clean energy. Done. World peace. Nailed it. Faster than light travel. Old news. We even figured out how to make the perfect sandwich. There was nothing left to do, so we hit the snooze button. Lisa's glow stuttered. Bored, she repeated, like the word didn't compute. The leader nodded, still chuckling. Yeah. Those pods you zapped? Not some primitive life support junk. They are quantum consciousness drives. We've been running sims, whole universes worth, while you suckers thought we were napping. Another human piped up, best part. That don't wake the humans rule? We wrote it. Planted it everywhere. Biggest prank in Galactic history. The Klyther team froze. Naira, hovering in the back, let out a faint whimper, her yellow light barely a spark. Kale's emerald glow hardened. He shot her a look that said, "This is your fault." Lisa tried to process it. "You're saying, you're not helpless? You've been ahead of us this whole time." The leader shrugged. "Ahead? Sweetheart, we lapped you centuries ago. You're just now catching up." That's when the real chaos kicked in. Back on the Klyther command ship, High Commander Taryn got the update, and she wasn't the only one listening. General Vorn, a hulking mass of black light who ran the military wing, stormed into the briefing room. "They're a threat," he bellowed, his voice a low rumble that shook the walls. "They've been playing us for fools. We need to wipe them out before they take over." His light pulsed with menace, and half the council flinched. Kale, patched in from the human ship, pushed back. "Hold on, they are not attacking us. They are just annoyed about their music and coffee. We can talk this out." Vorn's glow flared, drowning out Kale's signal. "Talk? You woke up a species that's been mocking us from the shadows. They are not annoyed, they are dangerous. I say we hit them with an energy purge and end this now." Taryn's red light wavered. "Vorn, we don't even know what they are capable of, exactly," he snapped. "That's why we don't wait." The council split right down the middle. Half sided with Vorn, itching to flex their military muscle and take control. The other half, including Taryn and Kale, wanted to keep negotiating. Naira, still reeling from her screw-up, stayed quiet, her light so faint she might as well have been invisible. But the humans didn't care about Klyther drama. While the council argued, they got to work. Their ship started beaming signals to the Klyther superstructures, those massive orbital cities, and within hours, things got weird. "We're upgrading your vibe," the leader announced over an open channel, his tone casual. Lisa watched in horror as one superstructure's energy grid flickered, then reformed into a giant hot tub. Another turned into a glowing lounge with pulsing lights and what the humans call chill beats. "You guys are way too uptight," a human tech said, grinning as he rewired a third structure into a coffee bar. "Time to relax." Vorn lost it. "They are dismantling our civilization," he roared, slamming a fist of light into the command table. "This is war." He rallied his loyalists and prepped a strike fleet, ignoring Taryn's orders to stand down. Kale, still on the human ship, tried to warn Lisa. "He's coming for them," he said, his light tight with worry. "We've got to stop this before it blows up." Lisa nodded, but the humans weren't fazed. "Let him try," the leader said, cracking his knuckles. "We've got tricks your glowballs can't even dream of." Back at command, Vorn's fleet powered up, their weapons humming with enough juice to crack a planet. "No more games," he growled, locking onto the human ship. "They die today." Taryn's light flared in protest. "You'll doom us all," she shouted, but Vorn cut the line. The Klyther were tearing themselves apart, and the humans? They just kept sipping coffee, tweaking the galaxy like it was their personal sandbox. Lisa sent a final plea to Taryn. "They are not fighting, they are redecorating. We can still fix this." But the signal fizzled as Vorn's ships closed in. The leader caught wind of it and laughed. "Oh, this'll be fun," he said, tossing his mug aside. "Guess it's time to show these light bulbs what happens when you mess with our nap." The humans cranked their systems to full power, and Lisa braced herself for whatever came next. The galaxy was a powder keg, and the humans were about to light the match. With Vorn's fleet bearing down on their ship, the leader didn't blink. "Time for a party," he said, cracking a grin as he chugged another coffee. "Let's settle this mess our way." Before Lisa could protest, the humans broadcast a signal across every Klyther channel: "Welcome to the Galactic Showdown. Bring your best dish, and maybe we won't trash your stuff." A cooking contest. in the middle of a war. Lisa's white light flickered. "Are you serious?" she asked. The leader winked. "Dead serious. Winner keeps their planet. Losers get a timeout." The Klyther didn't know what hit them. Half the council thought it was a trick, the other half scrambled to figure out what a dish even was. Meanwhile, Vorn's warships closed in, their weapons glowing hot with energy. "No more stalling," he roared over the comms, his black light pulsing like a storm cloud. "We end this now." His lead ship fired, a searing beam aimed straight at the human vessel. But it never landed. The humans flicked on some kind of shield, and the beam bounced off like it was nothing, spiraling into a nearby asteroid instead. The rock vaporized in a flash, and the humans didn't even flinch. "Nice try," the leader said, his voice booming across the open line. "But you're gonna have to do better than that." Their ship hummed, and suddenly Vorn's fleet froze, engines dead, weapons offline. "What the hell?" Vorn snarled, slamming his controls. A human tech popped up on his screen, smirking. "Quantum override, buddy. We've been hacking tougher systems than yours since kindergarten." Vorn's light went dark with rage, but he was stuck. His whole attack force was a sitting duck. Back on the command ship, Taryn watched in stunned silence. "They're not even fighting," she muttered, her red glow dimming. "They're toying with us." Kale patched in from the human ship, his emerald light tight with urgency. "We've got bigger problems." Vorn's lost it, he's splitting the fleet. Half his guys are loyal to him, not you. Taryn's light flared. "That traitor." She didn't finish. The humans cut in with another broadcast. "Round 1, spicy snacks. Let's see what you've got." The galaxy turned into a circus. Species from every corner tuned in, half confused, half hooked. The humans set up a massive hollow stage, projecting it across the sector. Think Iron Chef meets reality TV, but with aliens. One Klyther ship, caught in the chaos, sent over a glowing orb they called Energy Zest. A human judge took a bite, winced, and said, "Tastes like a battery." 4 out of 10. The crowd, now millions strong, cheered anyway. Vorn's loyalists tried to regroup, but the humans kept jamming their comms with cooking tips. "Try some salt, bro," one shouted as Vorn's second-in-command fumbled a counterattack. Kale saw his chance. "Nyra," he said, turning to her faint yellow glow. "We've got to stop Vorn before he drags us all down." She hesitated, her light was still weak from guilt, but nodded. "What's the plan?" she asked. Kale's glow steadied. "We use their own tech against them." "That beam you fired?" "Rig it to lock Vorn's ships instead." Nyra's light sparked, a flicker of her old fire. "On it," she said, diving into the controls. The showdown hit fever pitch. The humans rolled out a galactic gumbo that smelled like heaven and made a squid-like species cry with joy. Vorn, fed up, broke free of the override and charged the stage, his flagship blazing with dark energy. "Enough games," he roared, firing everything he had. The humans didn't dodge. They just snapped their fingers, and Vorn's weapons turned off mid-blast. "Chill, dude," the leader said, strolling out in his bathrobe. "You're harshing the vibe." That's when Kale and Nyra struck. Nyra recalibrated her beam, aiming it at Vorn's ship. "Here goes," she muttered, and fired. The pulse hit, locking his systems in a feedback loop. Vorn's light erupted in fury. "You'll pay for this," he screamed, lunging at Kale's signal. But Kale held firm, his glow blazing. "You'd rather die than let them live. You're the problem, not them." The two clashed, light against light, until Nyra cranked the beam higher, frying Vorn's controls. His ship went dark, drifting helplessly as his crew bailed. The humans didn't miss a beat. "And the winner is us," the leader announced, holding up a gumbo pot. "You guys suck at cooking, but we'll let it slide." They turned Vorn's flagship into a karaoke lounge mid-battle, blasting old Earth tunes across the sector. Species started joining in, tentacle aliens belting out Sweet Caroline, Klyther stragglers humming along. Taryn's jaw dropped. "They are insane," she said, but her light softened. The war was over, not with a bang, but with a song. Kale slumped, his glow fading from exhaustion. Naira floated beside him, her light steady for the first time in days. "We did it," she whispered. The humans, meanwhile, kept the party going, turning black holes into disco balls and handing out snacks. The universe was a mess, but somehow, it worked. The galaxy was still buzzing from the chaos when the human leader yawned, stretching like he'd just finished a long shift. "Well, that was fun," he said, tossing his gumbo spoon aside. Kale's emerald light flickered with cautious relief. "So, what now?" he asked, floating closer. The leader scratched his head, bathrobe flapping loose. "Now? We're done here," he said, casual as if he hadn't just turned the universe upside down. Lisa's white glow blinked in confusion. "Done? You mean you'll sleep again?" she asked, hopeful. "Nope," he said, grinning wide. "We're out." Before anyone could process that, the human ship hummed, louder than ever. A dark ripple shot from its core, spreading fast. Kale's sensors screamed, "A black hole, but not a natural one." "What the hell are you doing?" he shouted, his light spiking with panic. The leader shrugged. "Making our own exit. You guys can keep this place, we've built a better one." The artificial black hole expanded, swallowing the Klyther superstructures like a vacuum cleaner on steroids. Those massive orbital cities, hot tubs, karaoke lounges, and all, vanished into the void. Taryn's voice crackled over the comms, her red light frantic. "Stop them," she yelled, but it was too late. The human ship glowed, then blinked out, gone, along with the hole. Silence hit hard. Kale and Naira floated in the wreckage, their lights dim against the empty space where their civilization used to be. "They didn't sleep," Naira whispered, her yellow glow trembling. "They ditched us." Kale nodded, staring at the void. "That rule, it wasn't a prank. It was a warning." A faint signal pinged, a human message left behind. "Hey, glow sticks," it read. "New universe, new rules. Handle this one yourselves. P.S. Learn to cook." The words burned into Kale's mind. The humans hadn't just woken up to mess with them, they'd been planning their exit all along. Taryn's fleet drifted, shell-shocked. Lisa's voice broke the quiet. "They're gone. What's left?" Kale's light steadied. "Us," he said. "And a hell of a cleanup." The Klyther were alone, their galaxy gutted. The humans had hit reset, not for a nap, but for a fresh start somewhere else. Kale almost laughed. "Guess we're the prank now," he muttered, as Naira's light flickered beside him. And there you have it, the humans didn't just wake up and complain, they ditched the whole galaxy for a new universe. The Klyther thought they were in charge, but man, were they wrong. What a ride, right? So, what do you think? Would you wake the humans, or let them sleep? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I read every single one. Tell me your favorite part, or if you saw that insane ending coming. If you love this chaos, smash that subscribe button and ring the bell for Sci-Fi Space. We've got more epic sci-fi stories coming your way, like, what happens when aliens find Earth's lost junk? You won't want to miss it. See you in the next one, Space Fam.